Hey, what's up? Zach here, and today we have a pretty interesting battle between the relative newcomer and the Lacoste AG-LT 2100 and the veteran, the Diadora Blushield 5. Now remember, all these head-to-heads are judged 4 categories, 5 points each: speed, comfort, durability, and playability, total out of 20. Starting with speed, the Lacoste does have a pretty good initial push-off and snap, owing to that Pebex plate, which has a rigid beam effect that makes the shoe accelerate pretty quick, so it turns well and grip well even on slicker hardcourts. Plus, the way the weight is distributed along the shoe, it makes it feel a lot less clunky than some other shoes, which does help a lot too. The Blushields, although not slow by any means, just aren't as fast as the Lacoste are. They do take corners exceptionally well, and their side-to-side speed is really remarkable given how bulky the shoe is. And that's in large part due to the forefoot construction, with that Blushield almost acting as a drop-in midsole, but with better containment, so you're getting good ground contact and efficient push-off, even from really awkward positions. And so for speed, I'm giving the Lacoste a 5 out of 5, and the Diadora's a 4 out of 5. When it comes to comfort, I really think that's the dividing line between these two shoes. The Diadoras are like a 5-star resort for your foot, with really forgiving foam, accommodating uppers, and the Lacoste is like sitting on a wood bench. Because the foam stack on the Lacoste is small and honestly pretty stiff, the Pebex is unyielding, and the uppers are more textured, almost to the point of feeling raw on your foot. And even after playing with these for a little while, I never felt like I really broke these in completely. And so with that being said, I'm giving the Blushields a 5 out of 5 for comfort, and the 2100s a 1 out of 5 for comfort. The only thing really saving the AG-LT 2100 is that they are pretty accommodating in width for their standard size. Now, both of these shoes have resilient uppers and outsole treads. The tread depth on the Lacoste is a little shallow and wide. However, on the Dremel test, it held up pretty much just as well as the Diadora Blushield 5s. Both of them have pretty good durability on the outsole. On the uppers of both of them have very well-built durability guards around the forefoot and medial side for sliders or draggers. And the Lacoste has the extra benefit of that Pebex plate, which I talked about before, so they're not going to lose arch support as fast as some other shoes. And so for durability, I'm giving the Diadoras a 5 out of 5 and the Lacoste a 4 out of 5. The only reason the Lacoste loses a point is because the foam stack is smaller, so the midsole is going to bottom out faster, and the tread depth is a little bit wider and shallower, so it's just not going to last as long as something as heavily built as the Diadoras. And lastly, but most importantly, playability. Honestly, both these shoes play pretty darn well. Starting with a Lacoste, this shoe is kind of a conundrum. It's a little bit heavier. Remember, it's over 14 ounces for a size 10.5, but it moves exceptionally well through the air, and it does move really fast front to back as well as side to side with a really wide lateral flange, just a little more aerodynamic. It's got the 2 tread pods with a massive air channel in there with the Pebex. It really responds to your foot very well. So that initial push off is really good, even from very low positions. The only bad part about that is because the foam stack is a little bit lower, if you're playing with these for a while, they may start to irritate your heel a little bit or ball of foot if you have a higher arched foot. So I would put an orthotic in these if you are going to play in them. However, they are pretty breezy. They breathe exceptionally well because of those textured uppers, like I said before. So the shoe, especially on a hard court, does play really well, and it does move exceptionally well. And in terms of the Blushield 5s, honestly, these are some of the best playing shoes I've ever put on my feet. Number one, the continuous tread pattern on these really gives you a ton of tactile feel on the court. So a part of your shoe is always contacting the ground, no matter what position you're in, how low or how awkward you are for a ball. The flange is really wide, as well as it has a little bit of a groove in here. So it actually compresses when you move a little bit. And that might seem like minutia. However, when you're playing really high level tennis, or when you're all the way in one corner of the court and you need the shoe to forgive a little bit and then bounce back, these really do give you a little bit of that extra edge and a little bit of extra confidence with your movement. They're built like absolute monster trucks, so you really never feel like the shoe is going to give out on you. Plus, it has all this plastic around the heel counter as well as here with the arch support. So this shoe does give you a ton of support laterally as well as on this frontal plane as well. Now, the Blushield in the forefoot, some people think is a gimmick. I actually think, like I said, is like a really well-contained drop-in midsole. It gives you all the benefits of a drop-in midsole in just the right place that you need it. So you get a ton of ground contact, a little bit of a textured and tactile feel, but it also gives you tremendous push-off and tremendous balance from wherever you are on the court. So all in all, the Blushield 5s, my favorite shoe to play in probably ever. And so for playability, I am going to give both of these a 5 out of 5. The Lacoste, yeah, like I said, not the most comfortable shoe on the planet, but in terms of just raw playability, actually is pretty darn good. And so with all the categories together, that brings us to 15 out of 20 for the Lacoste AG-LT 2100 and 19 out of 20 for the Diadora Blushield 5s. Honestly, it's just the comfort that kind of sweeps the leg out from under the Lacoste. Other than that, it's a really good performing shoe. And in these head-to-head competitions, it's kind of hard to beat the #1 shoe on my list for 2021. These shoes actually did do pretty decent in comparison to the Diadoras. And remember, the 2100s are a little bit pricier compared to some other shoes, so you got to take that into consideration as well. And remember, these are just two of the many remarkable tennis shoes that have been released this year. So if you want to see some head-to-heads of the other best shoes of 2021, make sure you click into this video up above and subscribe down below. Respect your rubber and foam. I'll see you in the next video.